What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 54 of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Garrity. Um, Very hard to believe we've already recorded 54 shows. Doesn't feel like it at all. Feels like we're just getting started. But if you didn't if you didn't get to watch the first few episodes. I released them all on Podbean and Spotify. Um, they just started getting put up on YouTube. I think it was episode like 50, episode like 10 maybe. I forget. I'll have to check myself on that. But not all of them are on YouTube. Um, I know one and all of I think it's like the first 10 or 15 are on Spotify and Podbean. That's kind of back when I was um, not too big into it, not knowing like if I would make it to um, 54 episodes, honestly. But bottom line, didn't think I'd get this to 54 episodes. Um, but we got a great episode lined up for you guys today. We got Adam from Lowco Rods, hails from the great state of Georgia. Um, we talked to him about his military experiences, how his rod company came about, and just the ins and outs of being a business owner. And Before we get into that, I want to come on and let you know that Riversmith has now released the new Convoy hauler in a 45 liter. Um, really good looking, um, really good looking product. All their products are really good. That whole Convoy series is just unbelievable. Um, the River Quivers are super cool, but their new one, the Convoy hauler, looks fantastic. What's even better is if you buy a River Quiver or anything in the Convoy series, you get a year free of trout routes. You heard that right. A year free of trout routes. And if you want to save 10% on that order and also get a free year of trout routes, use code Wrangler10 at checkout to save you 10% on your order at riversmith.com. Again, that is Wrangler10, WRANGLER 10. So let's get into that interview. Can't wait. See y'all in a second. What's up, guys? Like I said in the intro, we have a great episode planned today. Super, super, super cool concept here. Super cool products. I'll kick it over to you to introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm Adam Johnson. I'm the founder of Lowco Rods here in Richmond Hill, Georgia. We're just just south of Savannah, a few miles. And I grew up in Georgia. I'm a Georgia boy here, and I grew up over the southwest side of Atlanta, but I spent a lot of time on my grandma's farm and stuff down in Blakely, Georgia, which is down by like Dothan area.
Okay.
Down by almost like at Florida line. And I grew up fishing, and so fishing's always been a great passion of mine. Since I could walk, I remember going fishing with my dad and stuff like that. But, we've always done quail hunting, duck hunting, freshwater fishing, largemouth bass and stuff like that. And so after high school, I joined the military. I did 24 years in the Army. I was an infantryman in the United States Army, a paratrooper, and a U.S. Army jump master. And I basically retired. And when I was looking to retire, It's funny because I was actually stationed in Chattanooga, Tennessee as a recruiter and at that particular time. And I remember my wife and I, we were getting ready to go to bed. We're kind of propped up in the bed and she's reading a book and I'm looking at, Instagram and stuff like that. And she said, what are you getting all excited about over there? And I'm like, this is what I want to do. And she's like, what's that? And I said, I want to move to the Lowcountry and catch redfish on a fly rod. And I'd already done a lot of fly fishing in my life. When I was 12 years old, one of my neighbors, I used to go up there and help her with her garden in the summertime. So like in the sweltering Georgia heat, I was helping her with her garden, and she was like, hey, my husband's got something for you. And I went over and seen him, and he showed me in his like basement. He's like, hey, would you like one of these fishing rods? And I'm like, sure. And he hands me this old beat up fly rod, right? And so I took that fly rod to my house. We had like maybe a half acre, three-quarter of an acre pond on it. And I kind of self-taught myself, casting, and I started catching, little brim sunfish and, stuff like that, and largemouth bass that we had in the pond. And from then on, I was hooked, And
Yeah.
The time I was in the Army, like when I would go to different places, we'd always bust out either spinner rod or a fly rod or something, and try to get in some fishing. So I fished like a lot of places all over the world. It's kind of funny. I think when you had Javier from Marsh Sessions on, he was talking about Catoon Lake in Panama, and I've actually fished there, catching some killer peacock bass, and
Yeah. Nothing better.
but yeah, it's just like, all over the world, hitting different spots and things like that. I've always just tried to, try to fish as much as I can. And so now, several years ago, I retired from the Army, and I was like, well, I got to find me something to do. My wife was like, you're going to get in trouble if you don't like find something to get doing. So, and I was already building rods at the time, so I was like, hey, I'm just going to build, fishing rods at the time and see where it takes me.
Heck yeah, dude. That dude there, I think that is how almost everyone got into fly fishing, man, was like sitting at a pond with a popper fly or like a dry fly, just hammering away at bass and bluegill. There's nothing better than that on like a summer afternoon, man.
For sure. Yeah, I remember I went to, I think, Kmart at the time, right? And bought some of those like little small poppers with the little rubber legs out the side, and just
Yep.
popping those along and catching fish in the pond was great.
Dude,
And
it's so much
just had to
fun.
kind of figure it out, But yeah, it was super good.
Oh yeah. So can you share the story behind Lowco Rods and how it was growing up in Georgia? That you already kind of shared some of your military experience, but if you have anything else to go into on that.
Yeah, for sure. So kind of the story behind Loco was, I live here in coastal Georgia, and I had bought a bunch of gear when I first moved down here before, like right before I retired, and I spent a ton of money on stuff, and you know, just salt water, just being the harsh environment that it is, I would come back from fishing and religiously like hose down my gear with fresh water and get it all cleaned up and everything. And just, as I went along, an eyelet would, ceramic out of a guide would fall out, you know,
Yeah.
and so it was one of the big name fishing companies, and I sent this rod back in, or I tried to send it back in, and they were like, "Hey, it's going to cost you $60 to send this thing back, and then we're going to fix it for free, and then it's going to cost like another $60 to send it back to you again." I'm like, "Well, that's the price of the rod."
Yeah.
So I started looking at it, and I started fixing these things instead, and so I'd ordered some guides from some manufacturers that sold guides, and I put them on there, and so it started out kind of as just repairing what I had, and
Yeah.
but things would just keep coming apart, and so I decided, I was like, you know what, you know, I'm pretty handy. I think I can figure this out, and I think I could probably build a better rod than I can buy. And so that's kind of how things initially started. And you know, due to the area that I live in, you know, everybody down here is fly fishing, you know, anyway. I had built some pretty crude fly rods at the beginning and stuff that like now I go back and look at that stuff and I'm just like, you know, one blown away, like how far things have come, and just like, you know, why did I not quit when I first started this? Because these things were horrendous, you know what I mean? And but as time went on, you know, I learned a lot, and I was able to expand on some of the designs and stuff like that, and put together some really cool stuff. And just like uh, being here in the local or in coastal Georgia where I live, you was just really inspired by the beauty and the marsh and everything, and that's where I get a lot of inspiration, you know, from my design work and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, I think it was Sean was telling me that like you saw some pictures of like coastal Georgia, and you're like, I want to move there, and then you ended up
Yeah,
moving there.
yeah. Like I was saying, you know, my wife and I, we were, you know, sitting around one night, and and in fact, of all people, which I um, at the time it was Gavin Sellers. He's a photographer here in Brunswick, or in Darien, Georgia. Amazing guy. But I was looking at his Instagram, and him, and now it's Captain Aaron Joyner. But those two guys, man, it's back in the day. They were dragging a Ginu through, you know, like these little um, these itty bitty creeks. You know, they're just low tide. They're walking around and just you know, knee deep in mud, dragging this canoe over top of oyster rakes. And I was just like, to me, I was just blown away by the, you know, the fish they were catching, and the, you know, the whole like the story of it all. And one thing I did want to retire near, you know, some military bases, and we have two right here in town or outside of town. So
That's pretty
um,
cool.
she said, figure out how to make it happen. So that's what I did.
Hey, sometimes that's all you got to do, man.
Yeah, man.
But so it's built for salt and crafted with low country pride. How do those values influence your design philosophy?
Yeah. So built for the salt. When I started building stuff, I was just like, I want to build something that's like over engineered at first. And I was like, it's got to be able to stand up to the, you know, the harsh environment of salt water. And it's funny, I had some people like, hey, I want to take this trout fishing. Can I, you know, take this, you know, freshwater too? Yes. It's built for the salt. So that's kind of how that whole like slogan came along, was it's everything that we build, we're going to take that that philosophy, you know, into account, and get the very best, you know, components that we can, so that it ends up just being a super reliable fly rod, and that will hold up to that particular environment, you know.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, with Low Country Pride, we're you know, just trying to be good stewards of the environment, and you know, take care of what we got. And we do a lot with, you know, a lot of the conservation efforts through like Georgia Saltwater Anglers Association and things like that. 100 miles. We have some events here in Richmond Hill that we started to get fly anglers together so that we can work on conservation. We have some definite challenges in Georgia with our redfish population.
Okay. Yeah, what events do you guys have going on out there?
So like we've had a crazy summer between, you know, stuff in Charleston. We had the red spot roundup
Oh yeah.
with Afterwork Fish Club. Um, Here in town, we have Tails and Ales. I started an event called Flyline Social that's here in Richmond Hill,
Okay.
and it's just a get together every other month for for anglers to get together and hang out. And we have vendors there, and we set up to, and just we get in skiff builders. We cast fly rods, and drink beer at Debilation Brewing down here in Richmond Hill, and it's a good time. It's a lot, a ton of fun, and just try to get people together. And then obviously Marsh Fest in Jacksonville area, and then On the Fly Outfitters from Brunswick. They've done the big film festival this year, and they've been promoting a secret sandbar party. So we have lots of events and things like that to go to, as well as the Savannah Fly Invitational, which I've fished for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, I think it is.
Heck yeah. Those guys at On the Fly are really cool dudes.
Yep. Jared down there at On the Fly, he's an amazing guy, and he's really supportive and stuff like that. And we're getting ready to put rods in his store, and talking to his folks in Charleston too about getting some rods up there in the stores.
I gotcha. That's pretty good. That's awesome. You get talking to like Hadrills and all them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
Perfect, dude. That'd be awesome. That's a really cool store in there.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
But yeah, we just stay busy with a lot of that, and but we're also busy, building rods, and that takes a lot of time and energy to keep up, especially now, because I'd never expected it to take off like it did. And so just now it's it's pretty much a full-time gig of rod building.
That's good though.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good problem to have. Hopefully we'll get some expansion going on and get some help.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, it's good to be. It's better to be busy than to be slow, especially.
That's right.
Especially in the fly fishing business. But let's dive into your rod families. So the Marsh MX, the Salt Series, the Salt Pro, and the Queen Anne's Revenge. How does each serve a different saltwater scenario? Okay,
so the Marsh MX is we've kind of deemed it now as our kind of redfish rod. I had a couple people say, "Man, this thing's like the Swiss Army knife of the fly rod world here in the Lowcountry," and but it really is a great rod. I took a philosophy with that rod that kind of like, I don't know if you're familiar with Carroll Shelby back in the day. Taking the Ford platform and just ordering super high end performance parts to make Ford racing machines, and and he's known for the Shelby Cobras and all that. But so I kind of took that philosophy with this, was I'm going to get the very best parts that I can find and make a rod that is performance. And it's kind of funny because it took me almost 2 years to put this rod together, and I was ordering blanks from different manufacturers, all over the country and stuff like that. And I'd get in a blank and I would mock it up, test it. This is crap.
Yeah.
Break it, and it goes over into a pile. Oh, this is pretty good. Let me set this to the side. This is junk, over to the side. So it took me quite a while to kind of figure out what was where I wanted to go with it. And then I'm not the best fly caster in the world. So one of the things is I got to be able to cast it. So I wanted something that would be super high performance for just about anybody that picked it up. But the Marsh MX has just turned out to be an awesome redfish rod. And one of the things is high performance parts. We've got the recoil guides on there, so you can grab them and just bend them down to the rod blank, and they'll pop back up. And so putting them in and out of a skiff is where they really shine. But I think overall, which I really wasn't at first, wasn't on my radar, so to speak, was this thing casts like a dream. And when I hand it to people and they're like, okay, this feels different, and they get out there and cast it, they're just like, holy crap, this is a great rod.
Yeah.
And and that's not me saying that. That's my customers and people that we meet at events and things like that.
Right.
Really, really enjoy like how well it does cast. So,
Oh yeah.
and then the Salt series, it's basically just a step down in components from the Marsh MX. Let me back up. The Marsh MX is from 7 weight to a 10 weight, so it's really geared for redfish, stripers, trout, um, maybe some permit fishing and stuff like that. I did catch some permit on my 9 weight this summer down in or late spring, early summer down in Belize.
Oh, I bet that was
Um,
fun.
yeah, and it performed perfectly. So it's really just deemed as that middleweight rod, that can do it all. And then it's non-reflective, so it doesn't spook fish and things like that. And it's just made to like all the components on there are pretty much titanium, so they're going to be anti-corrosion. They're going to be corrosion resistant and everything. So,
I think
but
that's a
anyways,
big thing.
yeah. And so, I mean, we really just built it for this area. But it's funny because it's really taken off all the way around the coast over to Texas. So I got guys over in Texas that are tearing up fish over there with it. And last year we went to Louisiana. Man, it's craziness the fish we caught on that thing. We caught 44-inch redfish on an 8 weight and a 9 weight, and
Oh my gosh.
just laser cast into the wind, strip, hook a gigantic fish, and battle them in. So, um, but it did super great there, and there you get a lot of winds coming off the Gulf there, so it's got to be able to cut through that wind. And
Yeah.
but the salt series, like I said, it's just a step down, but it is a 8 through 12 weight.
Oh,
I think right now we're getting ready to do another build on those because we've just about sold out. I think there might be one on the website now that's
holy
available.
crap.
But yeah, that thing is just an all around flats fishing rod. Um, and then Salt Pro is actually coming. I'm in the design phase of that right now, and we've been working on that for about a year and a half, I think, and it's almost there to start testing. And so I've gotten up with several people that are going to be going on some trips, doing some tarpon stuff, and maybe some Mexico trips and things like that. That we're going to
Okay.
get it out there because that thing is going to go from a 7 weight to a 14 weight. So I got an individual that put in an order for a Salt Pro 14 weight because he plans on catching sailfish offshore
Damn.
with it, and
That's gonna be
and
pretty
and
cool.
marlin. Yeah. So so and I think Salt Pro is really gonna the main thing with that is that it can be fished. It's a flats rod worldwide. So if you want to take it to, you know, the Keys or the Seychelles or Christmas Island or wherever, or even offshore, that you're going to be able to excel with that rod, and it's going to have a lot of the same characteristics. I like a kind of extra fast because it's so forgiving in the wind, and
Yeah.
so it kind of hopefully we can eat through that choppy wind and get that fly out there where it needs to go.
I needed that in Aruba, dude. That wind in the dang Caribbean, man. Oh my gosh, I had an 8 weight, and dude, it was like a boomerang. It's like throwing a dang Clouser minnow, and it's a boomerang. It's coming right back in my face. The wind's whipping so hard, dude. It was insane.
Yeah, that can ruin a day real quick when you can't get that fly out there, and you're just like the fish are right there, and
Yeah, I'm looking
you
at
can't
them, and
quite.
I'm like, well, dude, like at lunchtime, I just go. I had like a little drawstring backpack with me. I was fly fishing behind the house, and I'd end up packing that drawstring backpack with just 18 beers. Not 18,
Yeah.
but like I'd say 6 or 7. And it turned into
What do you
like
What do you do when the fishing's not good? You have a beer.
drink, yeah, drink a beer. And it's like the whole week it was like that. And I go and fish before dinner every night. And
Yep.
it'd be like in a short amount of time I would end up pretty bad off. Sorry, my mom's calling me. Need to see if something's bad. Oh, nothing bad. I thought something was going on there. She'll ask my girlfriend. But yeah, so I'm sitting there, I'm like my parents are like, why are you so hammered at dinner? I'm like, cause I was sitting there walking the flat behind the house, drinking Balashi like it was water, because I was getting pissed off. Was getting pissed off. Watching fish swim right in front of me and have my fly come back in my face.
Yeah, there's definitely a struggle when that happens, man. That's just like super terrible.
I hate it.
Um, that so that Queen Anne's Revenge is so that's kind of like a we call those a small batch rod, and that's where I'll put together a particular design of a rod, and then we'll just do like a limited run. So with that rod, originally I did 5. I'll probably do 5 more of those guys. Every couple of years I'll just release them. But where the Queen Anne's Revenge came out of, I don't know if you recognize that, but that's Blackbeard's ship, right?
Yeah,
The Queen Anne's
Blackbeard
Revenge.
ship.
Yeah. So here where I live, Blackbeard Island is just one on the backside of St. Catharines, or across the the sound from St. Catharines Island um, is Blackbeard Island is down there, and I fished a lot down there when I first moved here, and so if you go any place in Savannah, you'll see a lot of pirate, uh, folklore and things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
And so I was just like, kind of like, hey, we'll design kind of like a small batch rod that's unique, that is kind of cool. And really, it's a carbon copy pretty much of the Marsh MX, because it's built on the same blank,
Oh, cool.
just with different aesthetics. So it looks a little bit different, but
That's pretty cool
um,
though.
yeah, like in the butt end of the fighting butt, there's gold pieces of 8 there. That is epoxied underneath that's put underneath epoxy, so it looks clear, and you can see it at the end of the rod and stuff like that. You can see that on locorods.com.
That's pretty
But
sweet.
yeah, it's kind of cool, and then it appeals to some people, and but it has a lot of the same characteristics as the Marsh MX.
I got you.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. You're talking about Blackbeard. So Blackbeard was killed like 20 minutes from where I went to college, and
Okay. Yeah. In North
there's like a
Carolina, right?
bunch of yeah. I went to East
Yep.
Carolina, the
Yep.
Pirates. So it's cool. Like you go to Washington and stuff like that, and North Carolina, and they got Blackbeard stuff everywhere. Like a lot of the bars and restaurants in Greenville was like Blackbeard's Revenge restaurant and stuff like
Yep.
that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we have a T-shirt that's on the back. It's Blackbeard's face, and it says "Lowco Rods" and "No Quarter" on it. And actually, on
Oh,
the Queen Anne's Revenge, we had laser burnt "No Quarter" on the cork handle. So
that is
it's a super
sick.
cool rod. When they come out, they don't last. They go like almost
Like that.
overnight, or whatever.
Yeah,
They're
that's
gone.
awesome.
Yeah, but
That
it's just kind of something unique. So, and we do sell a lot of those Blackbeard shirts from North Carolina all the way down to Florida. So East Coast,
yeah,
pretty much on the East Coast, because I think Blackbeard took over Charleston Harbor for like 2 weeks or
yeah.
something.
He took over
Um, it,
Charleston Harbor for 2 weeks.
yeah, at one point, and they killed him in North Carolina, and
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's kind of where that
Apparently,
came from.
apparently his boat is still somewhere out there in North
Yep.
Carolina, and people have been trying to find it for years. And like, I think it was when it was, I think like 2 years ago, somebody thought they found a piece of like one of Blackbeard's ships,
Okay.
and I can't remember if like they actually did or if they ended up debunking it, but it was something like that. But you answered the next question kind of already. Um, yeah, what features make the Marsh MX a Swiss Army knife for the Lowcountry and the Queen Anne's Revenge a high performance flats rod? That's already really answered.
Yeah.
That
One of the things though I might add there is so I hand build all the grips on all these rods.
okay.
And one of the things is I kind of came up with my own kind of personal design on the cork grips, and so like all these things start out as rings, and then you glue them up. They're on a mandrel. You put them on a lathe, and you shape them. And I started handing these at events. I would hand just the butt section of the rod to somebody so they could grab that cork handle, and people were just like, "Ooh, this feels different. Like, what is it?" And they just can't put their literally their finger on it. But it's these grips are all custom made, and so there's a lot going on here where people are just like, oh well, this it's the guy builds custom rods, or he builds rods, but we don't just get out there and order up a whole bunch of parts and stuff like that. We're hand building these things, and
Yeah, you do
pretty
a
much
lot of it in
ground up.
house.
Yeah,
That's
and
that's that's rare to see these days.
yeah, it's kind of funny. I went fishing in the Mosquito Lagoon with Captain Chris Herrera,
Yeah.
who's a good friend of mine, and I he he's like, hey, bring your boat down. His boat was in the shop. He's like, bring your boat down. We'll go fishing. So he took me out there, and I didn't realize like how spooky those fish were there in the lagoon. And
Oh, it's insane.
yeah, it was funny because it was like he's like, hey, we got fish coming in at 11 o'clock, and I'm like, where? There? And he's like, don't point at them, and these fish would just go poof. They would just be
Boom.
they
Yeah,
would
gone.
yeah. So like people don't realize, if you've got a rod, it's kind of designed with these anti-reflective, kind of stealthy environment, made that way to be stealthy, then that can really help your day a lot, especially
Oh
when
yeah.
you're doing repetitive, false casting over top of fish and stuff like that.
That Mosquito
So,
Lagoon's crazy fishery, isn't it?
oh, it's insane.
It's wild.
We saw, you'll see, you know, schools of 100 fish, and you can't even catch them because there's just like spooky,
They
and
seen so many flies down there. It's not even funny.
those fish have seen
Dude,
it all.
they've seen everything. They've like, and what's crazy, I lived down in Florida for 2 years, and I used to fish the lagoon a lot, but I do it on foot. And those fish have seen, like, I hate to say it like this, those fish have seen so much shit. Like, all those
Yep.
mangroves are like dying rapidly. I've seen a gator getting like grass eaten off of its like underbody from a manatee down there, and it's like the sea life down there is getting depleted so fast, or it was before I left.
Yeah.
And those fish have seen so much turnover there, it's not even funny.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'd tell you what, I I'm not from that area. I don't know what it was like before, and then how it had to decline with the turtle grass and stuff like that. But from what I understand, it's making a great comeback,
Oh yeah.
and and that just goes to show what kind of stewards we have in that in the angling world. Give us a little bit of information and a little bit of knowledge, and we'll
And we'll
use
do
it.
it.
You know what I mean, and
Yeah.
turn things around. So
It
it's
that
really
that
really
was
cool.
super cool to see, because like everybody did come together and they're like, we got to save this place. Like, it's it's fishing history. down here.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being like 13, 14 years old watching Blair Wiggins down there catch tarpon on a fly. I was like,
Yep.
I gotta go down there. And it was crazy. I've always heard too, like from the guys that I used to fish with down there, they're like, this place used to be insane. And they're like, it's starting to come back a little bit, which is great to see.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
what
Yep.
oh, sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
I cut you off there. But um let's see. What has been the hardest thing about owning a business, and how have you adapted to things out of your control?
um, Things out of my control. Supply chain. When you first start out with rod building, you really kind of got to start out almost at retail prices on the parts that you buy. A lot of your distributors, they want to see volume before they'll give you, like a discount and stuff like that to
Yeah.
make it make it work. So you build something, you can actually sell it. And so, but the main thing is like the supply chain. Um, you know, Here just recently, we've had a lot of stuff with, uh, being able to get when anything happens in the world, everybody goes and
Yeah.
buys everything up, and then you can't get it. And so a lot of your suppliers, if you got guys that are building stuff and they're using parts from different countries and they can't get it, they'll rate manufacturers here in the States, and then when you go to get something, then it's just gone.
Yeah.
And so that's been kind of a big struggle. But on the flip side of it is just like my military service. I was a U.S. Army jump master, and so trying to pull in on some of that training and knowledge that I had there. And big thing in the U.S. Army jump master is attention to detail, because if you miss something, and obviously somebody could die. And so I try to bring that same thing to the table with rod building, that we make sure that we're putting everything together, and scrutinizing every single thread wrap that we put on those rods. And but the main thing is like the gear has to be reliable. And at the end of the day, I would say that just keeping things uh, small right now, and concentrating on um, you know producing the very best product that we can.
Yeah, that I agree with that. That's kind of what I'm doing right now too, where it's like I'm trying to stay small and then just kind of like produce the best stuff that I can. I think that's something that everybody should live by, you know.
Yep, for sure.
Really like what you just said right there. That's awesome. But are there any crazy additions to the rod lineup on the horizon for Lowco Rods?
Um, there is, and one of them I really can't talk about right
Okay.
now, because we're in the design mode of that thing, and so we're hoping that is a big hit when it does come out. Like I said, um, we're calling it Salt Pro right now because that was the original name that I deemed that line of rods, but it may actually change names before we launch it. And but I really think that's one of our biggies. And then I do have a small batch that I can talk about a little bit, which is I am looking at doing a set of 8 through 12 one piece rods.
Oh man, that's
And
pretty cool.
that the only bad thing about a one piece rod is it costs you a fortune to ship them somewhere, So
Yeah.
if somebody wants a one piece rod, just be advised that it's going to be a hefty shipping charge. And we always ship all fly rods for free, yeah. But when you're trying to ship a 9 foot, one piece rod, then hopefully there will be somebody that's semi-local that we can meet up with and pass them off. But
Oh yeah,
um,
and those things come
yeah,
in a rod tube like that damn long.
yeah, it's you got to get a big old piece of PVC pipe and put it in there
Yeah,
and wrap it and bubble wrap and hope for the best.
and
And then yeah, nobody really likes you in the shipping world when you've got something that big that you're trying to send somewhere. So
oh yeah, I think I might still have a few of those laying around, from when I tournament fished. If you
okay,
do
yeah,
need them, I will send them your way. We'll meet up somewhere.
yeah. I
Save a
think
couple.
one thing that we've kind of pitched the idea around is possibly some spinning rod lines that
That's
we
pretty
may
cool.
do. But right now we're getting ready to move right down the road from where we're at now, and hopefully by next year we'll have a new shop built,
Oh,
and so we're hoping to have a 50 by 60 foot shop built, and then that's going to give us the availability to do a lot more. And then with a lot of the fly shops getting on board right now of wanting rods, we're going to have to one get some help and expand that the capabilities. If I can get a couple 2-3 guys helping me, then we can do big damage on large rod orders. So
yeah.
you'd be surprised what you can do with a few people. So
Oh yeah. You get like a
yeah,
couple high school kids or college kids around there, man, that they'd love that.
yeah, you just got to train them,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's funny because I built a lot of offshore rods um, before I really started doing the fly rods, and um, that whole thing I know in our area would take off like like wildfire, but I haven't done it because um, right now I'm just keyed in on building a premium hand built fly rod that performs. And so I get people all the time, especially these swordfish guys, beat me up, man. Hey, I need you to build me a rod, and I built some before in the past, and they're amazing, and amazing rods, and um, but I'm just so passionate about fly fishing and
Right.
everything. So we're just keeping up with that. And if I get some help at some point, then I may branch out
That'd be good.
um, into the crazy area, like you're saying. So,
That is a crazy area, dude. Like, but I think if once you get some help, you'd be able to do it. That's for sure, dude. Like everybody I talk to raves about your rods. Like I had Christian Conley on
yep,
last week, who won the Red Spot Roundup, and he was talking
man,
about
that
how
dude
much he
is
loves
tearing it
his.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, he is tearing it up. He's got like
he's
44,000 YouTube subscribers. He's
yeah,
coming with us on Saturday too. We're going striper fishing on Saturday, and he
okay.
going with one of my buddies, Patrick, and then he's meeting us there, going to the Saluda River, and
Are you guys going to fly fish?
yeah, we're gonna fly fish for him.
Yeah, so he'll
Can't
probably
wait.
bring his 8 weight Marsh MX, so you should try it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna try it out. He's bringing it. I was talking to him today. He's like, I'm bringing my fly rods. I was like, bring your Lowco, please. I want to cast it.
yeah,
And
it,
so
it'll
yeah, man.
that'll be
So
a good time there.
oh yeah, dude, I can't wait. So the how I end every single one of my episodes is so I have a playlist on Spotify,
Yep.
and all my guests put 5 songs on it,
Okay.
and I go through my 5, and then you put in 5,
Okay.
and here I'll tell you mine real quick. Let's see. Yeah, it's like a 300 song playlist. It's insane.
So like music pretty much controls my life. So this
Same
is
here.
this was super cool to do. I really like when I first started watching you sometime back. I thought that this was a great idea. I was like, that's a brilliant idea. But anyway,
Yeah, so Andy Mill posted something on Instagram today. I think it was him and his son. They were like, we need something to listen to on our ride to Orlando because they were going to ICAST, and I sent Andy's son the playlist. I was like, it's all over the place, but here you go.
Yeah,
But
they're probably jamming out to that thing right now.
that'd be pretty cool if they were. Um, let's see. So I had Average American, Colby Acuff,
Okay.
Afternoon Delight, the Starland Vocal Band,
Yep.
and then The Wait, the band, and I've Been
Okay.
Everywhere by Johnny Cash.
I love that song.
I do too. I love it. I try and keep up with them every time, and I just can't.
There's no way, man. that's an awesome song, man. So I'm going to throw some stuff on there. Some of this comes back from not trying to really like date myself, but a lot of the 80s, early 80s and 90s bands.
I love that stuff.
But I do want to throw in something that's not really local to me, but to Florida. So my first pick is Dogfish by Nate Augustus and the Gladesmen.
Let's see. Nate Augustus.
Yep, and the Gladesmen.
I haven't heard of that one, but I'm definitely going to listen to it.
Yeah, and you can go down a rabbit hole with that guy. He's pretty unique. So yeah, he's down there in the Everglades. It's pretty much guitar picking and a lot of storytelling, some weird stuff, but it's pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Okay, and then the next one on my list is "Heard It on the X" by ZZ Top.
Oh yeah, I like a little
that little band
Top.
From Texas, right?
Heck yeah. I love ZZ Top. I remember when I started listening to ZZ Top because they were in a NASCAR game I used to play when I was like 14, and it was Sharp Dressed Man was in it, and I was like, I kind of like this band, Dad. Opened up a whole new realm.
The next I have Live Wire by Motley Crue.
Okay. I've probably heard that song. One of my buddies is a massive Motley Crue fan.
It's on one of their first albums. And then next one, Clean My Wounds, old COC, Corrosion of Conformity.
I got you. There we go. Got it. And then I think,
if you want to rock out like hardcore and on a road trip, that's a pretty cool tune, man.
Oh yeah, I have to check that one out too.
Yeah, good guitar music. And then I think I have one more. I have one more, right?
Yeah, one more. I might have miscounted. I'm not.
So
That's not my strong suit. Counting.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and the fifth one is Unchained by the Mighty Van Halen.
Yep, I love Van Halen.
Yep.
Man. Yeah, I love Van Halen. Well, that's all I got for you today, man. You got any last thanks or plugs that you wanna throw in here?
Yeah, if you're interested in any of our gear, it's lowcorods.com, all one word, LOWCO. And just a couple shout outs to Gavin Sellers Creative. He's my photographer that does a lot of stuff on social media for me. Like I said, he was the guy that I saw, that I kind of got excited about, coming to this area over 10 years ago. And but I ended up meeting him, and he's a phenomenal photographer. And his good buddy, Captain Aaron Joyner, there is one of his best friends, and they're out of the Darien area. And if you want to go fishing and catch some cool redfish, definitely get up with Captain Aaron Joyner. He's an amazing dude. And those guys have helped me tremendously with promoting Lowco gear and stuff like that. And we've got apparel out there on the website, great fly rods. All of our fly rods will ship for free, and shipping's on us on those. And I hope to see you at everybody at events, and DM us. We love to talk to everybody, and this whole like crazy community that we built around Lowco Rods has just been insane. From all the way from North Carolina down to Florida, Louisiana, and Texas, and all across the country. So it's just expanding day by day, and it's been an amazing ride.
Yeah, it's super fun to watch. But dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate it, buddy.
No problem. What's up, guys? That was Adam with Lowco Rods. Seriously, go check out those rods. Some of the best you can buy. Everybody I talk to is like, man, Lowco Rods, they're awesome, reliable, just crafted with absolute attention to detail, just great all around rods. Christian, who I had on last week, raves about his. Sean raves about his. I'm pretty sure Javi has a few of them. He raves about those. Dude, just all around great dude. Great rods. And just go check them out. It's only one way to figure out for yourself. Go check them out. Go get you one. Go support a small business, a growing business, veteran owned, which is super cool. So, like I said, that was Adam. Go check it out. Also, big event going on next week in Western North Carolina. Figured this one out today. You got the fishing festival up at Bold Rock Brewing in Mills River. We may be up there. Not sure yet. Got to do some planning, but we might be up there. Not sure yet, like I said, but so check that out. Even if we're not up there, go up, support your people. I'm still gonna go up even if I don't get a booth. But like I said in the intro, Riversmith just came out with a new convoy hauler in a 45 liter. So check it out. Use code Wrangler10 at checkout to save 10% off. And if you order any of the Convoy series or the River Quivers or anything this month, you are getting a free prescription of Trout Routes, premium subscription. I said prescription, I meant subscription. You get a free subscription of Trout Routes premium. I think that's a pretty cool deal. So go and check it out. Any of the River Quivers, um, the Convoy series, the Hauler, anything. Go check it out. If you buy one, code Wrangler10 at checkout. And that's all I got for you today, folks. Super cool episode. We got another cool episode coming up on Friday with some guys out of St. Augustine, Florida. But until then, I will see you guys later.